Hello students, hope you are doing well, and I welcome you in this PM Practice to Pass webinar, which is being organized by ACCA, and it's for September 2022 session. It's day one, and I am your tutor, your trainer, Haris Hanif from Tabani's School of Accountancy. This is my WhatsApp number. You people can contact me on my WhatsApp. And first of all, I would like to make sure whether my voice screen is all clear, my video, my voice and screen, am I audible? And please be interactive throughout the session. Go to the question box and write your answer. Whether my voice, screen, video is all clear. All right, now that's great. That's great. Okay, so this is PM webinar, and I am your trainer Haris Hanif, and I do teach at Tabani's School of Accountancy. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I want to give you my short profile for your relevance. I am ACCA affiliate and graduate in commerce. I am teaching these papers in Tabani's School of Accountancy. I do teach paper MA, PM, obviously, for which the webinar is going on. This is PM, AA Audit and Assurance, and AAA Advanced Audit and Assurance. I do teach at Tabani's School of Accountancy, which is the Platinum ALP in southern region of Pakistan, and simultaneously I am also associated with Tabani's Academy, which is the sister concern company of Tabani's School of Accountancy, and it is for the online lecturing. I have also taught in different other approved learning partners, and I'm teaching since 2011, and I've been selected 4 times by ACCA for Practice to Pass session. I had started my career in a bank, and then I joined the textile company, and so and so. This is the profile, and these are my contact details. These are my contact details. You can WhatsApp me, you can follow my YouTube channel, or you can even follow me on Facebook, which is Haris Hanif Official. Now, these are my contact details. You can contact me if you people are having any issue with the performance management and other papers, AA Audit and Assurance, or even AAA Advanced Audit and Assurance. I hope that you have noted down my number, and now I'm coming to the agenda. The schedule of the webinar. It's 24, 25, 26, and 27. These are 4 days, and our time slots is 5 p.m. till 8 p.m., which is PST, Pakistan Standard Time. This is for Pakistan Standard Time, and you people can follow your time zone accordingly to match the PST time. Just a minute, I'm starting this webinar, and see that this webinar is I'm just observing 1, 2 things. All right, students, now let's start. See that I really appreciate the efforts of ACCA, that they are arranging such kinds of webinars that is completely exam focused for the students, and these webinars which are being organized by ACCA is really helpful for the students at this last moment, so that you will be able to revise your core areas, right? So in this webinar, throughout this webinar, our agenda would be completely on exam focused. We will be solving the core areas of PM, performance management. And one more important thing is that 4 handouts have been uploaded in your handout section. You can go over there and you can simply download those lectures, right? And these are few results of my students in paper PM, and I'm sharing these results just for your motivation, that when these people, if these students can achieve this success, simultaneously you can also achieve this success, right? So this is the student Farnaz Faisal who secured nationwide first position in paper PM. Syed Ibrahim, who got nationwide first position in paper PM, and a few results are in 80s and 70s. And I'm sharing these results just for your motivation purpose, so that you people can be inspired. One important thing before going to start with these subjects and the topics, I would like to say something motivational, that motivation is actually the fuel, right? Motivation is the fuel. It's not something that paper PM is one of the challenging exam. Yes, I do agree. I accept this fact, and even you should also accept this fact that paper PM is one of the challenging exam. It's one of the challenging paper in the skills module. It's one of the challenging exam. I'm not saying that this is the only challenging exam. Even though when this is something challenging, then it must be interesting. I'm not saying that why this paper is completely tough. No, not at all. Not at all. It's not always be the case. I'm saying that this paper has got some challenges, and I will be discussing in these 4 days webinar that why this paper is perceived to be the challenging exam. One important thing is that in this paper PM, you have to think something outside the boundary. This is not the financial reporting paper where you just where you are aware of the formulas. This is not the taxation paper where there are specific rules. This is the performance management paper, and you have to think outside the box. One more important thing related to the paper, that the mindset is too much important. The mindset is too much important. Why I am saying these things, the mindset is too much important, because you have been surrounded by many negative arguments. Yes, you have been surrounded by many negative arguments, and I usually observe the students that, sir, this paper is not easily passed, this is a challenging exam, and so and whatever the stuff is. One thing I would like to say, that this is your mind, it's not the dustbin that you are receiving the garbage. You are not supposed to receive the negative comments. And my belief is that if you will be able to listen good comments, you can achieve the success. I am saying that you are here at this part 2 level, at this skills module. You are at the skills module. That means you have some guts, you have some potential, that you have cleared your initial knowledge module exam, paper F1, MA, FA, financial accounting, LW. Probably you might have been cleared taxation or financial reporting papers as well, right? It quite may be possible. So I am saying that I am your trainer, I'm your tutor. I am saying that you people have potential, you can do it. Why the students are often confused? The students are confused because they have always listened to the negative comments, that this is the difficult paper, this is the challenging task, you cannot do it. And when you listen something, it's something absorbed in your mind. All right, so I'm just sharing these are few results. Obviously I cannot share many more results, because there are other more outstanding achievements by my students, and these are enough for your motivation. And one thing I am saying to you people, you are good, you can do it, right? So let's now start with this webinar, and these are the webinar schedule and the paper format. Yes, this is the paper format, and the paper format is that, now you can see the complete screen. In the paper format, there are 15 OTQs of 7 different types. 7 different types, like there are MCQs, there are options available. There's a blank, there are drag and drop. Obviously you know that it's not something surprising for you. You all know it very well, right? So there are 15 OTQs of 7 different types worth 30 marks. Section B, 3 case-based OTQs with 5 sub OTQs and around 5 into 3, that would become 15 OTQs worth 2 marks each, and it is 30%. And your 60% paper, is based on OTQs and MCQs kind of style, and you should be good at solving the MCQs. I have extracted few of the MCQs from the past exam papers which was recently examined by ACCA, and those examples, those questions I have extracted from the examiner report. Many of the students I see normally that they do not refer to the examiner report before appearing for the exam. You must need to now see what I'm going to say. Students often listen to the negative arguments. Students often listen to the negative arguments. They listen to the failures. They do not listen what are the reasons of failures, what are the reasons of securing less marks, and these things will be covered out in your examiner report. The examiner report is very important to read. I'm not saying that you should read all the examiner reports. No, not at all. Not at all. You do not need to read out all the examiner reports, but at least you should read out 2 latest examiner reports, because in the examiner reports, the examiner highlights which areas were well performed by majority of the students, which areas were not performed, what are the common mistakes, what was this question, for example, and what was the answer by the students. This is actually the examiner report. And one thing, students, with the student do mistake, they just read out the requirement. This is a very important problem. I must say this is one of the important problem. This is one of the important problem, that students just read out the requirement. They do not understand the deep insight of the requirement, that why this kind of requirement was asked, what was the purpose. You have to understand the requirement. You are just reading it, blah blah blah, whatever the requirement is. So you should need to read the requirement. No, not at all. You should read, plus you should understand the requirement. Right now, 60% of your paper is based on MCQ techniques. Section C, there are 2 CRQs, that is constructive response questions, and in these 2 questions there will be numericals which you should use your spreadsheets. You all are aware. We will be solving the questions on practice platform as well. I will be sharing the agenda, and you need to use your WordPad, and your typing should be very much important. And those 2 CRQs worth 20 marks each, and so 40 marks, and there is total 100 marks. Remember here, I'm not here to convince you people to score more than 90 marks. I'm here to guide you people to pass your exam at least. The bonus marks are your plus points, your extraordinary efforts, but at least you should study like that way, that you should need to pass the exam. And I'm here to guide you how to pass your exam. What I see that in every ACCA exam, this is the beauty of ACCA examination. I must say that every paper of ACCA is very well structured. If you can seriously and thoroughly read out the things, analyze the things, your analysis skills should be too much important. You can easily explore the paper and you can easily pass out the paper. But the important thing is that you need to study it, you need to give your time. And one of the important argument I'm having from the students not from Pakistan. I am having these kind of stuff throughout the world, since I'm also engaged in online teaching as well across the world through Tabani's Academy platform. And definitely I'm interacting with many of the students both locally and internationally. Many of the students contact that, sir, paper PM is not able to pass by me, it's very challenging. And the same thing I do answer that when these students can do, you can even do. When these students can do, you can even do. There is nothing rocket science behind that. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. First you should accept that you can do it. All right, you will fail your exam once you accept that you cannot do it. You should do it. You should at least focus on the things, listen to the lectures, watch the videos. There are many resources available in the ACCA VLC Virtual Learning Center. There are many resources at the ACCA practice platform, the articles, the exam reports, and all that things. You must go through all these things. Right now after having this paper format, I would like to go to the syllabus area. And this is my syllabus area. Syllabus areas is number 1, IT and information system. These are sections, right? And in these sections there are subtopics. You are aware of that fact. And secondly, this is IT and information system. It quite may be possible that this can be examined like MCQ plus may. It not necessary. It may become the part of the CRQ, right? It may become part of CRQ. It may become the part of CRQ. It's not always the case that this would be the CRQ. It may become the part of CRQ. It may become. And one more important thing, that the next area is the costing. The next area is the costing techniques. And I am not saying that the past history of the ACCA exam, the past history of the ACCA PM exam is telling me that since this paper, the structure of this paper is from September 2016, that MCQs and case OTQs style of questions, right? So these kind of questions were set by ACCA from September 2016, and from that time period, one case OTQ is examined from here. One case OTQ. I am saying that secure your 50 marks at least. I am helping you how to secure 30 marks in this today's class. See that there are 3 case-based OTQs. One case OTQ would be coming from here. One case OTQ, right? And this were 10 marks, 10%. And there are different topics in the costing techniques. There's activity-based costing, target costing, life cycle costing, throughput accounting, environmental accounting. Now you are aware of the detailed syllabus area. I'm not going to discuss the syllabus in depth. This is the crash. This is not fresh class. This is the revision class. And decision making techniques, budget control and variance, performance measurement, and IT and employability skills is just to improvise your IT skills. It's not examinable content. These are the area. Performance measurement. This is, I must say that this is the backbone area of the entire course. This is the backbone area, performance measurement. When the paper PM was introduced earlier in December 2007, from that time period, one CRQ is continuously being examined from PM area, performance measurement, because it is the central area, it is the central and core to the exam, performance measurement. And you should assume one CRQ from here, one CRQ, right? So see that there are 2 CRQs. One CRQ would be coming from the performance measurement section. One CRQ would be coming from performance measurement section, and second CRQ, I don't know. You don't know. Any other tutor? No one can predict. Yes, you can see that question surprisingly in the exam. Seriously, it is not something which is the predictable that which question would be examined in the next CRQ. I cannot predict, you cannot predict. It's simply unpredictable. But yes, it quite may be possible that the next CRQ would be examined from budgeting, from variances, from decision making. There are in fact 5 different topics of that. It may be examined, but I am not sure and you are not sure. So please avoid the selected study. The selected study is not good for your not good for your health. No, not good for your examination health, right? So the selected study should not be taken. So but remember one thing, the areas which are, and I'm not saying that, which there are 6 different topics here in the performance measurement. I'm recalling those 6 topics. Number 1, general performance measurement. Number 2, three models. Three models, that is VFM, balanced scorecard, building block model. Number 5, divisional performance transfer pricing. Number 6, divisional performance ROI RI. So there are still 6 topics, and in this section your writing style matters a lot. Your writing style matters a lot. Now, one more important thing, and then I will be starting with my today's agenda, right? The important point is that in paper PM, your analytical skills are too much important. I repeat, in paper PM, your analytical skills are too much important. Now, what do you mean by the term analytical skills? Analytical skills means that there is a case study and you are the manager at upper level in the organization, or even you are a CEO, you are playing the role of a CEO. Whenever I'm teaching this subject specifically, I'm saying that you are the manager at top level, right? You are the manager at top level, and you are looking down at your organizations department. You are looking down at your organizations department in order to manage and measure the performance. In order to manage and measure the performance, right? So you are senior level in this paper PM performance management, and so you have to think accordingly. You have to think accordingly. One thing is that please avoid ratification. You do not have to ratify the things, and one, you are not supposed to go for the rote learning. Do not go for the rote learning. Try to learn and understand the concepts. You have to understand the concepts, right? Rather than you are simply memorizing the things. No, you have to understand the concept. And one more important thing, this is the paper you are studying. It is at skills level. It is at skills level, and the complete name of the skills level is applied skills level. Applied skills. That means you have to apply the knowledge. You have to apply the knowledge. See, simple is that. Simple is that you have to apply the knowledge. So you are not here to you are not here to give your knowledge based answer. You are here to apply the knowledge, and the case study would be there, and you will be required to apply the skills. All right, so you are here to apply the skills because you are at the skills level. Simply, that's very simple game. That's very simple story. Now let's proceed with this area. And okay, I've shared this motivated results. These are the syllabus areas, right? And now I am starting with this area costing section. Now, the point to be noted is that I am starting the costing section. And one more important thing, here in this costing techniques, there are 5 different topics, right? In the costing techniques, there are 5 different topics. That's ABC, target, life cycle, throughput, and environmental accounting. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here there is absorption as well. Now, seriously, I don't know which topic will be examined. Avoid the selected study, that I seriously told you. But one thing I can definitely assure you, that one case OTQ would be examined here from this section, costing technique. One case OTQ would be examined from here. Case OTQ, and we will be solving case OTQs here in this webinar series, right? So this is the thing. And yes, and the MCQs, I mean case OTQs. The case OTQs would be examined from any of the section. This case OTQ would be examined from costing, from budgeting, from variances, from decision making techniques, from other your common costing techniques, your other areas. It may be possible that some of the performance measurement MCQs can be examined from here. right? It quite may be possible. Is there any question up till now? Is there any question up till now? Students, is there any question up till now? Please be interactive and respond me in the question box. All right. All right, that's great. Now we are all right. So see that, please improve your motivation. Sorry, improve your motivation. You must have to improve your motivation, and you have to accept the fact that this is one of the challenging exam. You have to accept the fact that you are good. You have to accept that you can achieve this paper. Now I am formally starting this. I am formally starting with this costing technique, and in today's agenda, in today's meeting, I am going to solve the costing techniques because they are giving you approximately 10 marks, and we don't have to work hard, we have to work smart. All right, good to go. Good to go. Now finally, this is the absorption costing. Now this is the absorption costing. First of all, see that, try to understand what do you mean by the term costing. Costing is actually means estimating the cost. Costing is actually means estimating the cost for future activity. Estimating the cost for the future activity, right? For the future activity. And when you are estimating the cost for the future activity, this process is known as the costing. And one more important thing, that when you are trying to estimate the cost of per unit, there is direct material, there is direct labor, and there is production overheads. There is production overheads. And now what do you mean by that term absorption costing? What is actually absorption costing? Absorption costing is actually, it is the costing of overheads. It is not the costing of material. It is basically the costing of overheads. It is basically the costing of overheads. What is the purpose? The purpose is to add overheads into per unit cost, so that you will be able to calculate the per unit cost. So that you would be able to calculate the per unit cost, right? So the purpose of overhead absorption costing is to add overheads in the per unit cost, and it is absorbed. The word absorbed means add through OAR. OAR means overhead absorption rate. It is overhead absorption rate, right? Now what do you mean by the term overhead absorption rate? The overhead absorption rate is that overhead absorption rate, it is calculated as you will be taking budgeted overheads divided by budgeted activity level. There is budgeted overheads and there is budgeted activity level, right? And the activity level is basically the time, because what efforts you are putting to make product A, what efforts you are putting to make product B, what efforts you are making to make product C. So activity is the time zone, and the time may be machine hours, labor hours, whichever is higher. You need to take either machine hours or labor hours, whichever is higher, right? Now if I can give you the example, now see that you totally have to focus on the absorption costing. You have to totally focus on the overheads costing, not the material costing, not the labor costing. You have to focus on the absorption costing, that means overheads. Now let's say for example, the overhead absorption rate is $1.5 per labor hour. The overhead absorption rate is $1.5 per labor hour, right? And in order to make this specific one unit is taking 3 hours, right? So that means it is something estimated. It is something estimated, and the interpretation is that when labor will be working 1 hour, see that there is a factory rent, there is the factory rent, there are other overheads as well. So whatever my monthly or the yearly overheads was, I had simply divided with the activity level, right? And then I got this figure. So that means when labor will work 1 hour, estimated overheads is $1.5, right? When labor will work 1 hour, the estimated overhead is $1.5. So this is 1 unit requires 3 hours. And so if this is the product I am making in 1 hour, when labor will work 1 hour, the estimated overheads is $1.5. And this specific product is being manufactured within 3 hours. So I will have to take overheads per unit. How? 1.5 is to 3 hours. So that means 1.5 is to 3, that is 4.5. And 4.5 is actually called as per unit cost. So this is my objective which is being achieved, overheads per unit cost. Now it will be added in direct material and direct labor, and so you will be getting the total cost. This was just the very basic, and now we will be moving towards the case OTQs. Don't worry, you must have to attend this session till the end, and we will be solving case OTQs, the exam case OTQs, so that you'll be able to understand the examining favor of the examiner, that how the questions can be examined, right? Now I'm moving ahead. This is my question. The following information is available. Calculate overhead cost per unit, right? You have to calculate overhead cost. You have to calculate overhead cost per unit of both the products using absorption costing. And absorption costing is also called as volume based costing. It is also called as volume based costing. Why volume based? Because whose volume is high. Either the machine hours or the labor hours, because it is being working, it's working on the volume based basis. Will come onto the denominator, right? Basis will come onto the denominator. So overhead absorption rate is also known as the volume based costing. Now let's proceed. This is the question, and overheads of the company is 45,500. Overheads means it's not specifically related to the particular product. Overheads are said to be those costs. Which are incurred for the entire factory. Now this overhead cost per unit, now this 45,500 will be split into product A and product B. 50%? No, absolutely not. This will not be split 50%. This will be split based on the labor or machine hours. Now see that this is the product A. These are the production units, 1300 and 2500 units, 5 and 3. Machine hours 1.2. You need to analyze the total cost. You need to analyze the total hours. The total hours which labor or machine, both. I'm first analyzing labor hours. See that 1300 units multiplied by labor hours per unit. That is 1300 multiplied by 5, that's product A, and 2500 multiplied by 3, that's product B. How many labor hours are actually estimated? Now see that these are not the actual figure. These are something which is the estimated figure, and costing is being done for the future activity, right? Costing is being done for the future activity, right? Now moving next, it's 1300 into 5 plus 2500 into 3, that is 14,000 hours, and you need to analyze the machine hours as well. That's 1.2 and 0.5, and you need to analyze the machine hours. 1.2 plus 0.5. Now the figures are expressly telling me that these hours are less in quantity as compared with the labor hours. This is 2810. So this is the volume based. This is the volume based. That's 1400 is having the great volume, and now 45,500 is the overheads. So we will have to take overhead absorption rate 45,500 divided by 14,000 hours. That's 3.25, and this is 3.25 per labor hour. This is 3.25 per labor hour, right? So now that means that when labor will be working, when labor will be working 1 hour, the estimated overhead is 3.25. All right, so that's product A and product B. So you will have to take overheads per unit. That's 3.25, that is the labor hours, and you need to take the labor hours accordingly, 5 and 3. So when you will be multiplying it with 5 and 3, so you will be getting the overhead cost per unit. 3.25 is to 5, that is 16.25, that's per unit, and 3.25 is to 3, that's 9.75. So this is actually the overheads cost per unit based on the absorption costing. Now I am addressing the students. Number 1, the question is that, sir, which topics we have to cover today? Aurangzeb Imam, we have to cover the costing area, ABC target life cycle, and see to what extent we will be solving it. All right, and tomorrow's agenda, I have planned that after completing the costing section, I will be going to the performance measurement section. Rahma Rizan. Rahma? No. Rahma, I didn't divide this. This is labor hours. This is 45,500, the total overheads, and this is the labor hours. We have to analyze which one is higher. We have to analyze which one is higher. So this is a higher figure, and so this is per labor hour. That means when the labor will be working 1 hour, the estimated overhead is 3.25. Aves Khwaja, after some time, yes, I know, I will be giving it after some time. Rahma Rizan, is it now clear to you? Rahma, okay. Shaksham Sharma, there is a full webinar schedule. Yes, I have shared the webinar schedule previously. This is the webinar schedule. PST is Pakistan Standard Time. All right. Now let's come on to this overhead absorption rate. So this is the question which we had solved. And one more interesting question I have received here. So why there is a low pass rate of this paper as compared with other papers? I have told you that because in paper TX there are standard rules. In paper FR there are standard pro forma. This is the performance management, and based on the scenarios you have to write accordingly. You have to write accordingly that what kind of solution is fit for this company. And the main reason I have noticed from the students, both internationally and locally and internationally, that students are not trying to think outside the box. You have to think something outside your boundary, out something. You have to be very, you have to be too much practical, not too much, but at least to some extent you have to be practical. You have to apply the skills. Say Tahir Abbas, yes, let's see. But first, what the agenda I have uploaded here in this handout box. First, we need to follow that. Yes, Faisal, you can to some extent, but still, in this 4 days webinar, I will be covering some important areas, some recent past papers, right? And so definitely the whole course cannot be revised practically, but to some extent you will be able to handle the exam at least. Now, since you have not revised, now and I must advise you that must revise it. You might have studied from the ALP, you might have studied from the tuition provider, and you should revise your register. Now, students, now let's go to the next question. This is simply the absorption costing. Now this is yet another costing, that is activity based costing. Now what is activity based costing? It is also the costing of overheads. It's a form of absorption. You can say it's a kind of absorption costing. It is a kind of absorption costing. It's not the absorption. It is a kind. It is a form of absorption costing. Overheads are shared on the basis of logical activities. I am giving you the example. See that every cost has its reason. Every cost has its reason. This is the question. Before going to write this theoretical thing, this handout is attached and I am annotating this file, and yeah, probably the annotated files might also be shared, but first you need to focus on the solution. So before going to write something, before going to write the theory part of this activity based costing, I would like all of you to come on to directly come on to this question. This is a question of Toto Limited. Calculate overhead cost per unit for both the products, and we have to use ABC because this is an example of ABC. I'm giving you just 1 minute window, sorry, few seconds window. Please read this question thoroughly. Please read this question thoroughly. All right. Now see that there are two overheads, the overhead related to quality inspection and overhead related to setup cost. We all know what quality inspection is and what setup cost is. All right. Now, this question is available, and the question is saying that the company makes two products, alpha, beta. Details are given below, alpha and beta. Now, there are 1200 units and there are 500 units. There are 1200 units and there are 500 units. These units are the estimated units. These are not the actual units produced, because we are not, because see that we are not calculating something actual. We are actually calculating, estimating the future activity for the future activity, and that what word means costing, right? And that what word means costing. So we are actually making a cost estimate. The company, it is written that the overheads are quality inspection 15,000 and 32,000. ABC activity based costing says that first identify the cost and identify the logical reasons. Now what is the reason of quality cost 15,500? This 15,000, why this cost was incurred? It was not because of the labor cost, it was not because of the labor working, it was not because of the machine working, it was because of quality inspection. And this cost should be apportioned on the basis of number of quality inspection. And number two is 32,000, that is the setup cost, and the setup cost should be based on number of setups. It should be based on number of setups. ABC is actually saying that whatever the cost is incurred, you need to apportion the cost based on the related activity. Not every cost is related to the labor hour. Not every cost is related to the labor hour. It's not necessary 100%. It should be related to the related cost drivers. And simple is that. And so activity based costing is saying that overheads are shared on the basis of the logical activities, and that is known as the cost drivers. And there is the overheads, there is a cost pool. So if the overhead is, let's say, if the overhead is setup cost, if the overhead cost is setup cost, that means this cost should be shared between the products based on number of setups. If there is a cost of quality inspection, it should be shared on number of inspections, number of quality inspections. If there is a cost of a delivery, that is a transportation cost, it should be based on the basis of number of deliveries. So see that whatever the cost, whatever the overhead cost is, it is actually being shared based on the related cost driver, and that's known as the cost driver, the logical activities. All right, now let's move ahead for the next thing. And one thing important is that after solving this question, we have another question, and yes, then after we will be having this case OTQ. Now, one important thing is that there are two kinds of environment, that is a simple and the complex environment. So if your production environment, is simple means there are less activities. Simple means there are less activities, and if there are less activities, that means the environment is so simple, right? The environment is simple, and here absorption costing is suited. Absorption costing is suitable. And when your production environment is based on, if it is based on AMT, AMT stands for Advanced Manufacturing Technology. And in the advanced manufacturing technology, there are many more complex activities. There are many complex activities. And when there are many complex activities, so that means we need to identify the cost. Which was incurred related to the activity. And so here we need to identify the cost. We need to identify the cost plus its reason, and reason is the cost driver. And here ABC is suited. Here ABC is suited, right? So ABC is best suitable in the advanced manufacturing technology. ABC is well suited in the advanced manufacturing technology. When your production environment is based on advanced manufacturing technology, that means you will be using activity based costing, right? Now let's move ahead for another question. This is this is the question which we are solving. Uh, so there are two kinds of overheads. One is 35,000 and number two is 15 and number two is 32,000. That means there would be two calculated rates. There will be two calculated rates. And that's known as the ABC recovery rate. And here I need to calculate ABC recovery rates. Number one is the quality inspection. Number one is the quality inspection and the cost is 15,000. Number one is the quality inspection and the cost is 15,000. That's quality inspection. Now, why this quality inspection cost was incurred? This was because of the number of quality inspection. And what was the amount? 12 plus 18, that's 30. 12 plus 18, that is 30. So quality inspection cost is its cost driver is number of inspections, that is 12 plus 18 and it's 30. 12 plus 18, that is 30. So you know what you are supposed to do, you need to calculate the ABC recovery rate. Now what you will be taking, that 15,000 divided by 30. Now what you will be calling this 15,000 divided by 30? It's $500 and this is 500 per inspection. This is 500 per inspection. It is the ABC rate. Now what does it this interpret? When the team will be coming for the first time, one inspection will cost 500. The total inspection are 30 and one inspection will cost 500, right? One inspection will cost $500. Now moving next, that is the setup cost. And after we will be having the setup cost, and obviously the setup cost will be based on number of setups. And how many number of setups are there in the factory? Number of setups is actually means that you are making the production ready to use. It's not been ready, it's been ready to use. That's a setup cost. You need to arrange your production setup and you have arranged it 15 and 25 times. So it's 15 plus 25, that is 40 setups. These were 30 inspections. These were 40 setups, right? These were 40 setups. And now setup cost, we will be calculating what is the overhead cost. That's 32,000 divided by 40. That's $800 per setup. It's $800 per setup. Now there is a turn to there is a turn to absorb these overheads. Now there is a turn to absorb these overheads into the production units. And there are two kinds of products here. I have A and B. What was the initial one? Quality inspection cost, that is 500 per inspection. That is 500. And what was the quality here? 12 and 18. 12 is for product A, 18 is for product B. 12 is for product A and 18 is for product B. So 500 multiplied by 12. Here 500 multiplied by 18. 500 multiplied by 12. So it's 6,000. It's 9,000. And here setup costs. Setup is 800 and the setup is 15 and 25, right? 800 into 15, that's 12,000, that's 20,000. So you will be having a total 29,000 amount, and this is 18,000. This is called as total overheads. This is known as total overheads. And what you are supposed to do next, this answer is not over yet. The answer is not over yet. You need to divide it with number of units. The number of units are 1200 and 500. So please calculate overhead cost per unit. That's 40 per unit, and that's 1200, and that is 15 per unit. That's 15 per unit, right? And that is 15 per unit, and that is totally the overhead cost per unit. Do you understand this thing? Don't you worry about the no, Fatma Yusuf. This topic would not be examined in CRQ. Lava, you are asking for time management tips. I'll be giving it later on. Is it now clear? All of you, please respond. Okay, it's 58. Sorry, it's 58. Thank you. And so we have calculated our answer. This is the overhead cost per unit, right? Now, I'm moving towards the next question. Listen, one thing very important. Whenever the company is making the products, in the form of batches, whenever the company is making the products in the form of batches, whenever you see the word batches in your question, this is your first task. Must calculate the number of batches first. Must calculate the number of batches first and write it down separately. So you need to calculate the number of batches first. First of all, you need to calculate number of batches. You need to calculate number of batches. You need to calculate number of batches. All right. Now, what is the question here? This is the question, and this is the requirement. Using activity-based costing, calculate overhead cost per unit. Yes, overhead cost per unit. This is product A and this is product B. You need to calculate overhead cost per unit. I am giving you one task. Please read this question thoroughly. Please read this question thoroughly. All right. Please calculate the number of batches. Calculate the number of batches, please. All right. Now we need to calculate number of batches first, and then we will have to solve this question. First of all, see that units and units per batch. It's 10,000 alpha and beta. So you need to calculate it's 10,000 total units, and in one batch there are 1250. So there is 10,000 divided by, it's 10,000 divided by 1250. It's 8 batches, and here 15,000 divided by 3750. It's 4 batches. All right, students. Okay, this is actually the number of batches. Okay, students, first tell me in the question box whether my video is clear, my video and voice is clear. Few people are saying yes, people are saying no. Okay. Is it now clear? Is it now clear? My camera and my audio video, is everything fine? Is everything fine now? Probably it may be probably it is working now. Probably it is working now. Okay, I've changed the settings. Okay, now come on, let's resume to the question. Excuse me. Now let's come on, let's resume to the question. 8 batches and 4 batches. Now the cost is that inspection cost, that is 24,000, and here inspection is per batch. It's not on per unit. See that inspection is not on per unit. Inspection is inspection per batch. Inspection is per batch. Setup cost per batch. So per batch, it's not on per unit, it's not on total, it is on per batch. So if I can say, if I can summarize for the number of inspections, that's product A and product B. For product A and product B, we need number of inspections per batch. Here for product A, these are 6 inspections per batch and there are 8 batches. For B, there are 8 inspection per batch, 8 inspection per batch. And there are how many batches? There are 4 batches. So 8 multiplied by 4 batches. This is 48 and this is 8:4. This is 8:4 and this is 32. So in total 32 plus 48. There are 80 inspections. There are 80 inspections, right? There are 80 inspections. There are 80 inspections in total. There are 80 inspections in total, right? Now, secondly, I have to calculate. These are inspections. These are inspections. Secondly, I need setups. Secondly, I need setup. These are 5 setups per batch. 5 setups per batch. A and B. 5 setups and 9 setups. Multiply by 8 batches and multiply by 4 batches. So it will be 40 and 36. It is 76 setups. It is 76 setups in the entire factory. It is 76 setups in the entire factory, right? There are 76 setups in the entire factory. So we will be taking that in order to calculate the ABC recovery rate. And secondly, the property cost. And secondly, there is a property cost. Setup cost and inspection cost issue had been resolved. The property 8,750 is the property cost, right? And now we are not having the required level of cost driver for the property cost, but the genuinely cost driver for the property cost is the number of area. Since it is not mentioned and it is one of the limitation that I need to take the labor hours as a second solution. As a second option, I need to go for the absorption costing, because property cost is being shared on the basis of floor area occupied, but here there is no information of the floor area, and this is one of the limitation of the activity based costing. When there is not the appropriate cost driver, it switches itself towards the absorption costing. Yes, this is a limitation, and see that there is no appropriately cost driver available here, right? So we will be solving it based on the labor hours, and the labor hours is based on the per unit. Labor hours is based on the per unit. And how many labor hours are there? Labor hours are A and B. So the labor hours are 3 per unit. 3 hours multiplied by 10,000 and 5 hours multiplied by 15,000. That is 30,000, and that is 75,000. So the total would be 105,000 hours, right? So I have calculated this thing. Now I should calculate the ABC recovery rates respectively, and then absorbing to the questions, absorbing to the product, sorry. So number one is the inspection cost, that is 24,000. Here I am calculating ABC rates. Number one is the quality cost, inspection cost or the quality cost. Inspection cost is 24,000 divided by 80. That's $300 per inspection. Number two, the setup cost, and you can see that the total number of setups are 76, and the setup cost is 38,000. It's what was the amount actually? Yes, it was 38,000 divided by 76. So 38,000 divided by 76, which is 500 per setup. This is 500 per setup, right? And number 3 is the property cost, 78750. 78750, it would be divided by 105000, or at the second option. So 78750 divided by 105000, and that is $0.75 per labor hour. Now this is at the second option. I am taking this thing because we are not having the active cost drivers available in the question. So that's why we should move ourselves towards the volume based costing. This is the costing technique of ABC, right? And you need to now absorb to the products in order to calculate overhead cost per unit, right? So here I am applying the same theme. That's product A and product B. Product A is inspection. Number 1, inspection. The rate is 300 and we will be taking 48, because now focus on these things, right? 300 multiplied by 48, and here 300 multiplied by 32. So my answer would be 300 multiplied by 48. It's 14,400. It's 9,600. Next one is the setup cost. Next one is the setup cost. The setup cost is 500, right? Now I'm giving you the window. Can you people solve this thing? Can you people solve this thing? Please solve this thing. Is there any answer? I mean, had you solved it? Mr. Talha Muhammad, I have already told that which topics will be discussed. I will be discussing costing sections, ABC, target, life cycle, right? And I strongly recommend all of you, when the topic is being, whatever the topic is being run, please solve this, Talha Muhammad, and then we will be moving towards the next topic of target costing and then probably life cycle. The handouts are attached for today's class. All right, you're most welcome. All right. Inspection cost is 500 multiplied by, focus on this, multiplied by 40. That's 500 multiplied by 36. 500 multiplied by 40. That's 20,000. 500 multiplied by 36. That's 18,000. And then we will be having property cost. The property cost is $0.75 multiplied by this thing, 30,000 and 75,000. $0.75 is to 30,000. That's 22,500. 0.75 is to 75,000. That's 56,250. So please total it. It's 83,850. Please, you should also recalculate to verify the accuracy of my answer and divide by number of units. Are these calculations right? Are you recalculating it? Yes, Aves. All right. So what are the number of units? The number of units is 10,000 and 15,000 because we need to calculate per unit. That's 10,000 and 15,000. 10,000 and 15,000. So now you will be having the overhead cost per unit. That's 5.69. That's 5.59. This is my overhead cost per unit. Do you people understand this thing, the question? Please tell me in the question box. Do you understand this thing? All right, that's great. Now, students, we are having a very short break, for 10 minutes only, because here in our time zone there is a prayer time. It's only 10 minutes for namaz break. Will be coming at after exactly 10 minutes at 6:30 p.m. according to my time zone, PST. Right, so do not disconnect yourself. We will be resuming this case OTQ and then target costing. So I am turning off my camera and my mic, right? So I will be resuming after 10 minutes. We are now back from the break. Students, will you please confirm me whether my voice, screen, video is all clear? Once again, I need the confirmation so that I can proceed with this lecture. Is everything fine? Video, audio, screen? Come on, apply me. All right, that's good. That's good. Now, students, we are now going to solve one case OTQ of the same topic, which is of activity-based costing. And this question you can see, do look at the examining here, just look at the content. Look at the content, please. Now we are solving this case OTQ and it is Duff Company, June 2014 examination. Now see that this is the case OTQ. One thing that I guide to my students, since you all are my student right now, one thing I guide that whenever there is a case OTQ, don't try to read the requirement directly. First, do one thing. You have to do one thing. Just concentrate. That you need to scroll down, then see the topics. Just like that. Observe me. Observe me. I scroll it down. Okay, active current absorption activity. Yes. Then I got to know that this topic is on activity-based costing. Now, you should read this entire case study first. You should read the entire case study, and then you should read all those requirements. So I'm giving you 1 minute window to read this question thoroughly so that I will be proceeding this. All right, I will be proceeding with this. Please read out this read this entire case. All right, students, I am assuming that you have read at least the relevant information. If not, then allow me to read so that we can proceed with this. Dev company manufactures three products X, Y, and Z and uses cost plus pricing. Each product uses some materials, same materials, and same type of direct labor, but in different quantities and all that stuff. They are saying that budgeted production 20,000 units, 16,000 units, and 22,000 units. These are the budgeted units, right? These are the budgeted units. And the budgeted direct cost of three products are as follows. Here it is mentioned that batch size. It is clearly mentioned the batch size. Units per batch 500, 800, and 400. What does it mean? That means they are producing in the form of batches. So if I can divide with 20,000 divided by 500, so you will be having number of batches. That's 40 batch. Here there are 16,000 units divided by 800. That's 20 batches, right? And at Z, 22,000 divided by 400. That's 55 batches, right? Because of this, Mhm. Okay, now let's try here. It's now 55 batches. Now we have completed the calculation of number of batches, right? Now the question is that what is the full production cost? What is the full production cost per unit of product Z using DEF company current method of absorption costing? I think I should solve it into my next fresh page so that the answer would be looking very clear. This is my DEF company solution. Product X, Y, and Z. I have first calculated, I will be calculating it later on based on the requirement. Number one, the requirement is absorption costing. The requirement number one is of the absorption costing, right? And in this absorption costing, I need to close this window. Wait. So that we will be focusing on only two files. Okay, now that's the absorption costing. Now the question is that what is the full production cost of product Z using the DEF company current method of absorption costing? Using the current method of absorption costing, you need to calculate full cost. And remember that when there is a full cost of product Z, that means you are supposed to calculate material and the labor cost. And see that direct material is given, direct labor cost is given of product Z, and even the overhead absorption rate is given. Even the overhead absorption rate is also given. So what you are supposed to do, can you people tell me what is the figure of labor hours on product Z? Can you people tell me in the question box what is the figure of labor hours? What is the figure of labor hours? Please do tell me here. Can anyone calculate what is the number of labor hours per unit? That's good. No. Labor hours on per unit I'm talking about. All right. This is actually 24 per unit and there are 12 hours, right? 12 per hour. So on product Z, there is 24 divided by $12, and that is 2 hours per unit. That is 2 hours per unit, right? And you need to calculate the total cost, full cost per unit. Full cost per unit. So overheads, direct material and direct labor. These two costs are actually given to me. These two costs are actually given to me 28 and 24. That's 28 and 24, right? In overhead absorption rate, the overhead absorption rate is also given, that's 9.70 multiplied by 2 hours. So 9.7 multiplied by 2, that is 19.4. So my full cost is 71.4, right? And that is in option A. 71.24, that's option A, right? So we had successfully calculated our part one. I don't think so there might be any issue with this question. Now let's move ahead. What is the next requirement? The next requirement is the overhead cost per unit using activity based costing. Now see, this is the current subject matter. Activity based costing, you need to calculate overhead cost per unit of product X using activity based costing. Only overhead cost per unit. You are not supposed to calculate the entire cost, and for that you need to study this thing. 1377,400 is the entire overhead cost, and these are the proportion. Just have a very quick look on these overheads and the cost drivers. So we will be calculating what? The ABC recovery rates. Just see that there are cost pools and there are cost drivers as well. There are cost pools and there are cost drivers as well. And so we need to calculate accordingly the activity based costing, the ABC recovery rates. And number one cost is the machine setup cost, and for that we need number of batches, and for that we need what? We need number of batches. And so first of all I need to calculate the number of batches, which I have actually already calculated here. This is ABC, right? So you need to calculate number one, number of batches. X, Y, and Z. What were the amounts? 20,000 divided by 500. 16,000 divided by 800. 22,000 divided by 400. And the amounts were 40, 40, 20, and 55. These are number of batches. 40, 20, and 55. These are the number of batches. So what you need to do, this is one of the cost driver, right? This is one of the cost driver. So machine setup cost is 280,000, and 280,000 are being divided with the number of batches. And here it is 40, 20, and 55. Can you please make it total? 40, 20 plus 55. It's 115 batches. 115 batches in total. There are total 115 batches, right? So number one cost is that of setup cost. I only need for product X. Product X is my subject matter here. Product X is my subject matter, right? So I will be calculating here, number one, the setup cost. I am calculating just ABC recovery rates. I'm calculating ABC recovery rates, right? And for the second one, there are purchase orders and number of machine hours. Purchase orders and number of machine hours. I need number of purchase orders and number of machine hours. Here it is given the number of purchase order per batch. Now listen, first of all, let's do one thing. Let's calculate the cost drivers totally. We had calculated number of batches, yes. Now we need number of purchase order. This is number of purchase order per batch. So we need to calculate number of purchase orders. These are the batches. I am calculating purchase orders. I am calculating total purchase orders, that is for X, Y, and Z. The number of purchase orders are 4, 5, and 4, and these are on per batches. 4, 5, and 4. Multiply by 40, multiply by 20, multiply by 55. That's 160. 5 into 20, that's 100. 4 into 55, that is 220, right? So if you can make it total 160 plus 100 plus 220, that's becoming 480. and 480 is the total purchase orders. 480 is the total purchase. Now we need number of machine hours, and here the machine hour is on per unit. Now you are observing that the question is playing with us. The question is playing with us, and you have to respond accordingly. One cost driver was based on number of batches per batch, and another one is machine hour per unit. It's not on per batch. Now you have to be too much attentive while reading the question, while understanding the requirement. So it is on per batch and some per unit. So for per unit you need to focus on the per units, right? That is 20,000, 16,000 and 22,000. So that is the thing, 1.5, 1.25 and 1.4. So I'm now calculating total machine hours. I am solving it one by one thing, and I'm showing each and every calculation to make sure that you guys are better understanding. Secondly, in the exam, when you are, obviously you might be champion in the costing, in fact after this webinar as well, so you will be solving it very quickly onto the rough page or the scratch pad. So total machine hours, that is X, Y and Z. What's the time? 1.5, 1.25, 1.5, 1.25 and 1.4. This is machine hour per unit, per unit, per unit, per unit. Now you need to calculate units 20, 16 and 22. That is 20,000, 16,000 and 22 and 22,000, right? Because in order to calculate the ABC recovery rate, we should have the total figure. And one thing I am highlighting, we need X thing, right? We need the figure of X, because X is our subject matter. 1.5 into 20, that is 30,000. The next one is 1.25 into 16,000, that's 20,000. 1.4 is to 22,000, that's 30,800. Make it total, that would be calling it total machine hours. 3020 plus 30.8, that is 70,800, right? Sorry, it's 80,000. It's 80,800 total machine hours. So I have calculated this. Total and total. I have calculated this total, and so that I will be calculating ABC recovery rates based on the available cost drivers, and then I will be apportioning it onto the question, onto the question requirement for product X. But first of all, we need to have the rates. Now on the next page, I am calculating its ABC recovery rates. The initial cost was setup cost. The setup cost was 280,000. So it's 280,000 divided by 115. It's what is the recovery rate? That is now please make it simple. Make it simple and quick. ABC recovery rates plus a portion to product X, right? Number one cost was setup. So we are actually calculating for product X, right? So what was the calculation should look like? It's 280,000 divided by 115 multiplied by 40,000, multiplied by 40 batches, right? Because I have highlighted the product X figure. It's 280,000. It's 280,000 divided by 115. Now that will be ABC recovery rate, and for multiplying with product X, it was 40. It was 40, right? So what is the cost in the share of product X? That's 280,000 divided by 115 multiplied by 40. that is 97,391. Make it round off, right? Number two cost was ordering cost. Ordering cost is 316. Number two cost was ordering cost. Ordering cost is 316,000, and its rate was its base was purchase orders. That's 480 multiplied by 160. 480 multiplied by 160. That's 316,000 divided by 480 multiplied by 160. That's 105,333. That's 105,333. Right? And number three, now be smart. Number three is that machine running cost, and they are both having the same cost driver. Machine hours. They both are having the same cost driver. So you can add it up in order to save your time. That is 420 plus 361,400. These figures you should total it up and collectively taking to the machine hours. So apply the mathematical trick. So I am now doing here. That's number three is what? Machine and general facility. Machine running cost plus general facility. If you can total this thing, 420 and 361, 400. Yes, 361, 400. The total figure is 420 plus 361, 400. That's 781, 400, right? So what you will be doing, 781, 400 divided by what is the machine running cost based on the machine hours? 80,800 multiplied by 30,000. So it will be divided by 80,800 multiplied by 30,000, because 30,000 is for the product X, because we are solving for the product X, right? Now what would be the thing? You will have to multiply it. That's become 29124. All right, now please add it up. Total 97,391 plus 105,333. That's becoming total 492,848. And this is not my answer. The question is product X on per unit. How many units are there for X? 20,000 units. 20,000 units for product X. So I will have to divide it by 20,000. That's 24.64. And the option is, yes, option B. Option B, 24.64. Now this is the calculation for activity based costing. The calculation for activity based costing. I am teaching that in a way that you will be able to handle the question in the exam. Not only handling the question, you have to solve it as well. Okay, so that is the thing I have noted it down. Now let's move ahead for part C. I mean the third requirement. The third requirement is also calculative using activity based costing. The total overheads allocated to product Z. Using activity based costing, the total total overheads allocated, they have already allocated using activity based costing. They have allocated this amount 576, 583. What is the budgeted full cost per unit using activity based costing? Now that's very simple. I must say that's very simple, seriously. That's third requirement. That's for product Z. For product Z, they have already allocated the cost 576, 580, that is the total, and you are supposed to calculate the cost on per unit. How many units of Z are there? That's 22,000. 22,000, right? So it is like overheads. It is like overheads. Using ABC, they have calculated the overheads. That is 576, 583. 576, 583 they have already calculated, and they have provided us the information that this is already calculated. You are now supposed to calculate only the overhead cost per unit, sorry, total cost divided by 22,000 and direct material plus direct labor. They are already given. Material, what's the amount of material? 28 and 24 for product Z, 28 and 24, and it's 576, 583 divided by 22,000. So that is 26.20. Now make it total. This is a very easy question. That's 78.2. Option B is the correct one, right? Option B is the correct one. Now question number 4 and question number 5 are theoretical in nature. So we must have a very good understanding of theory topic as well. Question number 4. Which of the following statements about activity in deaf company are correct? Which of the following about ABC, which of the following about activity based costing in deaf company are correct? Which of the following statements are correct? Please read all these four informations. Please read all these four informations. Okay, ABC can be applied to all overheads, not just production overhead. The answer is yes. Why? Because ABC analyzes the cost regardless whether it belongs to the production or non-production. And I had given you the example as well. Delivery cost is being based on the number of deliveries made. So obviously it's a non-production cost. Secondly, ABC provides more accurate cost. As a result, pricing should be improved. Yes, because there is a fair costing. There is a fair costing, and when you will add up X percentage, then it will be selling price decision. Then it will be selling price decision, right? So fair costing, when the costing is fair, the X percentage is there and the selling price is fairly decided. Number three is the ABC recognize that overhead costs are not all related to the production. Yes, they are saying they are not all related to the production. Sometimes just like non-production, that is number of deliveries, and number of deliveries are not related to the production, they are related to the deliveries made. So this is absolutely right. Number 4, ABC will be of limited benefit. Limited benefit, that means less benefit if deaf company overhead are primarily volume related, or if overheads represent a smaller portion. The answer is yes. How? ABC is useful. ABC is used in AMT, and in AMT there are many activities, which means large portion of costs, large portion of overhead cost, right? That's a large portion of overhead cost. So ABC is used when there are large portion of overhead cost. So ABC is of limited benefit if overheads are primarily volume related. Volume related, that is a hint towards the absorption. or if the overheads represent a smaller proportion. So obviously it's of limited benefit. The answer is yes. So ABC is useful when the overheads are greater in proportion. ABC is useful when the overheads are greater in proportion, right? ABC is useful when the overheads are greater in proportion. So it is of less usage, it's of less benefit when there are a smaller proportion of overheads. It's very simple thing, right? So this is the thing which we had done. Now moving the next. Before going to study this number 5 requirement, I would first like to explain you the concept of elasticity of demand, that is the relative elastic. Now what is the point to be noted is that in number 4 it is option D, right? It is option D in number 4. So let's now going towards number 5. First of all, understand the concept of elastic demand. What is elastic demand? What do you mean by the term elastic demand? When the demand is elastic, that means when you increase the selling price, the demand will be reduced by the greater proportion. Let's say, for example, I am increasing my selling price. I am increasing my selling price by 7%, and the demand will be going down by more than 7%. That is the elastic. That is the demand is giving you the response very aggressively, more than the selling price change. So elastic demand is that demand is giving fast response, or you can say aggressive response to the change in selling price. It's aggressive response to the change in selling price, right? So elastic demand is that, let's say for example, the selling price is increasing by 10% and your demand is being reduced by more than 10%. The demand is being reduced by more than 10%, and this is the meaning of the, this is the very simple meaning of the elastic demand. Now you have to consider this elasticity in mind. You have to take into account, and then you need to read this MCQ. Please read this MCQ. Hurry up. Please read this MCQ. Hurry up. Now, which of the following statements are correct regarding product X and product Y? Number one, it is written that, using activity based costing, the production cost of X is very similar to the cost, but the cost of Y is almost 10 less. Using ABC, the cost of X is similar. So if the cost of X is similar, so that means there is no change in the selling price, because the cost is almost same and the profitability is same, right? So it is talking about for product X, using absorption and using ABC, cost is same, right? Using absorption and ABC, the cost is same, right? The cost is same. So when the cost is same and when you will be adding X percentage, so definitely the selling price will remains same because the cost is same, there is no change. So number one is, if the company decide to adopt ABC, the price of product X will change. The answer is cross because it is not correct, right? And when this one statement will be eliminated, option A and option D will be eliminated because both are containing number one, and number one is not true. Number two, the cost of Y is almost 10 less. The cost of Y is 10 less using ABC, and product Y, product Y is product Y is absorption and ABC. Let's say, for example, from absorption there is $70, let's say, and through absorption ABC it will be 10. I'm just assuming this thing. When I will be adding the X percentage, let's say 10, it would be 76 and it would be 66. So the price of product Y will go down using ABC because of $10 less, in the cost. So if the company decide to adopt ABC, the sale volume are likely to remain unchanged. The sale of product X, it's absolutely right because the sale volume are likely to be unchanged because of the elasticity. There is no change in the selling price, there is no change in the cost, and obviously the sale volume remains unchanged. The option 2 is right. Number three is that if the company decide to adopt ABC, the price of product Y will go down. The price of product Y will go down. Yes, the selling price of Y is going down. So that is 100% right. That is 100% right. Okay. And number 4 is that a reduced selling price is unlikely to increase in demand. No, reduced selling price will result in demand being increasing. Reduced selling price will result in demand being increasing. Reduced selling price will result in demand being increasing. It is saying the opposite side. So 2 and 3, the option B is right. 2 and 3, the option B is right. So do you understand this question? The first statement is wrong. One student is asking, Rahma Rizan, why the first statement is wrong. The first statement is wrong because it is saying that if the company decide to adopt ABC, the price of product will change. And on this above example, it is expressly written that the cost is very much similar to the cost under ABC. When the cost is same, obviously the X percentage would remaining same, and then you will be having what? Selling price, which is unchanged because cost is same as calculated under ABC. So there is no change at all. So there is no change in the selling price as well. Rahma, do you understand your query now? Is your query resolved? All right. So this is the activity-based costing. Now we have to start with another topic, and that is the target costing. I am opening the handout of target costing. You should pay attention towards that target costing. I should save this. By naming the file, that is the company solution ABC. Right. So I have saved this handout. Now I am opening another file of target costing. Now this is target costing. This is your second This is your second chapter of this section, costing, target costing. Now see that what do you mean by the term target costing? Target costing is that traditionally, what is the traditional style? The traditional style was that company used to estimate the cost first, and in the target costing there is a very different and opposite story. There is a different and opposite story in target costing. What is the target costing means? Target costing is actually used in the environment when there is a high competition. Usually when there is high competition in the market, target costing can be used. So target costing is used when your market is competitive, target costing is being used. In the target costing, company will be not company will not be setting the selling price. Company does not set the selling price. Company does not set the selling price. Then what companies do? Company obtain the, let's say for example, I'm giving you the example. Yeah, Faisal Abdullah, it would be fine, but it would be fair enough that you will have to go through the recent exam questions as well, and the examination kit which you are saying that it's okay, you can use it. All right, shall we go towards the target costing? Okay, now the target costing is that company does not set the selling price. Now what's the next story? Let's say for example that I am going to sell this product. I haven't sold it yet. I'm going to sell this product, and this product is already being traded in the market. This product is already being traded in the market at $50, and I am the new entrant to some extent at selling this product. I cannot sell more than $80. I cannot sell at more than $80. Why? Because there is a set selling price. So company does not set the selling price. Company actually pull the selling price. Company actually pull the selling price from the market. Company actually pull the selling price from the market, right? Company actually pull the selling price from the market. It's a pull system. It's not the push system, it is a pull system. Company does take the selling price from the market because there is a ready-made selling price in the market, right? And you cannot sell more than the market competitive price. As the market is competitive, as the market is competitive, so company may not sell at more than company cannot sell at more than market selling price. So company does not sell the selling price. Now what's the next thing is that? The next thing is that the question. There's a question, and what is the cost gap? I'm not going to tell this thing with the help of the question. So company is not setting the selling price. Company actually pull the selling price from the market. All right. Now the question is that, will you people read this question, please? Please read this question. Question: Space Limited has a target to earn 20% ROI. Space Limited has target to earn 20% ROI. ROI means that is return on investment. Companies actually has a target of earning return on investment, and the amount of investment is 280,000. Estimated volume is 1600 units. Estimated volume is 1600, and we are here to calculate the cost gap on per unit. Now what is the cost gap? See that first of all, company need to identify the product. The product had been identified, and the company's target is 20% ROI. Investment is 280,000. So you know how ROI is calculated? That is actually profit over capital. Profit over capital. And how do you calculate profit? Profit is calculated as capital multiplied by ROI. And so the capital is 280,000 and 20%. 280,000, 20%. That is $56,000. $56,000 is the company's target return. This is actually the target return, the target profit, you can say. This is the target profit which the company wants to earn. Estimated volume is 1600 unit. The selling price in the competitive market is 92. The selling price from the competitive market is $92. $92 per unit is the selling price. 92 per unit is the selling price traded in the market. Now what is the thing that the selling price is $92 and the company wants $56,000 profit, but it is on 1600 units, and your target profit is 56,000 divided by 1600. 56,000 divided by 1600, that is $35. You know what? This is known as the target setting. This is known as target setting. Company is selling the product at 92 per unit and it wants $35 target profit. So the target cost is 92 minus 35. This should be my target cost. This is my cost which is targeted. This is the cost which is targeted, and it's known as the target setting process. The company is now that there is a topic target costing. If I can make it much more simpler, that first set the target, and secondly do the costing. First set the target and secondly do what? Costing, and that's become the target costing. First set the target, second do the costing. Right now, what is the recipe of the target costing? That I have taken the selling price from the market. And here it is $92 per unit, and the company wants target profit of 35. So that if you want to achieve the target profit of $35, your cost should be 57. Your cost should be 57, right? Your cost should be 57. So what you did, this is your target setting process. And the next one here is that the company's own production and non-production cost is 59.5, and your estimated cost is 59.5. that is production plus non-production. So if you can calculate what is the gap, I want that my cost should be $57, but I am estimating that my cost may be 59.5, that my cost may be 59.5. This is not the real cost. This is actually the estimated cost. Right? This is the estimated cost. Do you understand? This is the estimated cost. So the difference is 2.5, and this 2.5 is the cost gap. This 2.5 is the cost gap. You know, cost gap arises when your estimated cost is greater and your target cost is less, and the difference is the cost gap. I want that my cost should be 57. I want that my cost should be 57, and my estimated or my foreseeable cost is 59.5. Now that is giving me the clue that I may not be earning the target profit. All right. So this is the cost gap. Now see that, students, please come on to the question box. See that your cost gap should be more or your cost gap should be shrinked. Your cost gap should be more or your cost gap should be shrinked. Should it be more or should it be shrinked? Cost gap. Yes, it should be less, it should be low. And now point to be noted is that closing the cost gap. The cost gap should be closed down. The cost gap should be closed down, right? The cost gap should be closed down. Your cost gap should be reduced. Your cost gap should be reduced. Number one. If I can make the if I can again make the that sketch, that what you are supposed to do, that is selling price, target cost, that's a target profit, sorry, there's a target profit. This story is called as target set. This story is telling you the target set. Plus this cost will now be compared with estimated costs, and the estimated cost whatever there is, and the resulting figure is cost gap, right? The same pro forma we had used in the last question. Now when you are supposed to close down the cost gap, when you are supposed to close down the cost gap, there should not be the change in the target. Then what's the meaning of target costing? There should not be the change in the target cost, in the target setting process. It should not be the change. Why? Because you want to achieve the target. The target should not be changed. It should remain same. So this estimated cost should be reduced down. So you need to reduce the estimated cost. You need to reduce this estimated cost. And in this estimated cost, there are production costs, plus there are non-production cost. And one thing I'm expressly writing, no change in the target. There should not be change in the target. No change in the target. Why? If you will bring the change in the target, then what's the reason behind the target costing? The target should not be changed. The target should remain same. Instead, your estimated cost should be reduced, so that when you will, and this is simply the rule of the costing. If you want to maximize your profit, see, if you want to maximize the profit, if you people want to maximize the profit, should you change the target? No, you should reduce your cost in order to achieve this target. So your production and non-production cost should be reduced. All right. Let's say, for example, ways to reduce the cost gap. Ways to reduce the cost gap. What's the way to reduce the cost gap? In the production cost, there are direct material, direct labor plus overheads, right? And the target costing is saying that you should reduce the cost gap. Cost gap should be reduced. Now, what are the possible ways? You can increase the selling price. No, please do not amend your target. Don't change your target. When the target is getting changed, then what is the meaning of the target? The target should remain constant. Put your efforts, change your efforts. You can change the supplier. You can switch to another supplier. You can even change, or you can use alternate material. You can use, or you can change the use alternate material, like you can say substitute. All right, you can train the staff. You can train the staff so that when they will be trained, the wastages would low down, would go down. Try to control the overheads. For example, by switching towards the activity-based costing, just control down your overheads. Yes, it quite may be the reason that your cost may be reduced. It may be the reason that your overheads is having the large proportion. So control overheads like ABC use, like you can use ABC. All right. Now what else you can do? You can switch on the supplier. You can now one more important thing. There is a concept of value analysis. There is a concept of value analysis. What is the concept of value analysis? Value analysis is saying that value analysis. What value analysis is saying? Value analysis is saying that use your materials, design your product in such a manner, that is, use those features which are valued by the customers. For example, if the customers are not accepting any value added thing, let's say, I usually give the practical examples. There are a lot of cough syrup, you know, the medicine. They used to be available in the box, but nowadays in many countries, in many cities, in fact, the lot of cough syrups are being available in the glass bottle. That's it. There is no cover, there is no box at all, because customers are not valuing it. And similarly, you people have noticed that with every medicine there are the prescriptions written, and now no, because the company is analyzing that nobody's reading those things, so they just eliminate it, because these features are simply non-value added by the customers. So value analysis actually means remove the non-value added features from the products and only include those features which are valued by customers. Only include those features which are valued by customers. And when you will be eliminating those non-value added features, your cost would be ultimately saved. For example, it's $0.005. So multiply by 38,000 units, your thousands of dollars could be saved. So the value analysis, the concept is that the concept is that you should use only those features which are valued by the customers, and you should simply eliminate non-value added features, right? So non-value value analysis is that and remove those features which are not valued by customers. And definitely, when when you will be eliminating those features which are not being valued by the customers, you are ultimately saving the cost. You are ultimately saving the cost and reducing the cost gap. These are the possible ways. And I am writing etc. You can even find out some alternate solution as well. Like you can go for make or buy. You are not producing by yourself. You are outsourcing it to someone. This can also be the possible way in order to reduce the cost gap, right? But one more important thing is that do not try to change the target, right? Try to reduce the estimated cost. Next, these are the steps definitely of target costing. Definitely these are the steps of target costing. What are actually the steps of target costing? Please read all these steps. Please read all these 7 steps. First of all, you should identify the product. You should identify the product and estimate its volume. Volume means expected number of units to be sold. That's pull the selling price from the market. Pull the selling price from the market. Obviously, because you are not deciding the selling price, right? Decide the target profit. Now you should decide the target profit. Calculate the target cost. You simply divide. How to calculate target cost? Selling price minus target profit. Estimate own cost, and that should be including production plus non-production. Then you are supposed to calculate the cost gap and then close the cost gap. These are the systematic steps of target costing. These are the very systematic steps of target costing, right? Now let's move ahead. This is the question. This is the question in front of you. Question. Please read this question and answer me in the chat box. Answer me in the chat box. Whatever the question, whatever the requirement, whatever the option, please reply in the chat box. Yes, reducing the idle time also reduces the cost gap. Reducing the idle time would also reduce the cost gap. Yes, Osama Ahmed, I have noted down your option. All right, all right. Now, what is the question saying to me? What's the question is saying to me? In target costing, which of the following would be an appropriate strategy? which one is the following is the appropriate, or you can say the most suitable strategy to reduce the cost gap for a product that existing in a competitive industry. See that market is very competitive. You cannot increase the selling price. I've just told you in the previous slide that no change in the target. So that means here the target should not be changed. The selling, you cannot increase the selling price. If you will increase the selling price, your customers will go to the competitors, and sometimes competitors may do unethical marketing as well. So you cannot increase the selling price. Number two, reduce the expectation gap by reducing the selling price. Expectation gap by reducing the selling price. If I will reduce my selling price, my profitability will already will go down. No. Now reduce the desired margin on the product. They are trying to say reduce the profit margin. Shall I supposed to reduce my profit margin in order to achieve the target? We want to achieve the target. See, in target costing, we need to achieve. We need to achieve the target profit. So does it make sense to reduce the target margin? Not at all. So the only option remaining is that mechanizing production in order to reduce average production cost. That is reducing the cost. All right. So this is the appropriate strategy to reduce the appropriate strategy to reduce the cost and achieving the target profit. That's very simple thing. All right. Now, one question is that this is the question. I am waiting 1-2 minutes. Please solve this. Up to 2 dp, I mean 2 decimals. Please solve and reply in the question box. I'm waiting for you people to solve this small question. Yes, Sharma. Okay, I'm receiving the answers, and I am now going to solve this question, and probably your answers are right. Probably your answers are right. Okay, now let's discuss this question, and the predicted selling price, I'm solving it right here. The predicted selling price for the product has been set 56 per unit. 56 per unit is the selling price. The desired markup is 25%. See that when there is markup, markup means profit on cost. Markup means profit on cost. That is, you can say cost plus profit. Cost plus profit. That's a markup thing. That's a markup means. So that means your when the markup is that cost is 100%, your profit is X%, and the collective is more than 100%, right? Now it is saying that the material cost is 16 before allowing for any shrinkage of 20%. For every $10 kg going in comes 8 kgs comes out. So this is the material cost. Now see that whenever there is a loss, and the figure is given, whenever the figure is given, and there is loss, that means figure is after loss. That means figure is after the loss. What is the loss here? The loss here is 20%. That means this 16 is showing me 80%. That means figure is after loss. After loss of 20%. That means figure is 80%, right? So I'm now going to prepare the pro forma of this thing. The selling price is 56. It's the selling price $56, and your markup is 125. So definitely it is 125%. Your target profit is 25%, and your target cost will be 100% because there is the markup. So the target profit is, now you can simply divide it, 56 divided by 125 multiplied by 25. It's a rule of mathematics. Wherever you are, divide. Where you want to go, divide. So you can simply calculate target profit like 56 upon 125 multiplied by 25. So it is 56 divided by 125 multiplied by 25. That is 11.2. That is target cost. 56 minus this. That is 44.8. 44.8 is my target cost, right? Now the thing is that material cost is, I can simply calculate what is actually the requirement. If labor is the only other cost, 2 hours are needed. What is the most business can pay per hour if a cost gap is to be avoided? They want to avoid the target cost gap. So my cost gap will be avoided when I will be estimating my cost, and my cost should be 44.8%. Sorry, 44.8. That means your cost gap would be eliminated. So I will have to estimate my own cost, right? And there are only two costs, material and labor. Now we have to go reverse working. So that is the estimated cost. That's direct material. Direct material would be 16 over 80 multiplied by 100. This is of the loss kind of thing. So 16 divided by 80 into 100, that is $20, right? And then there is the labor cost. And when the labor cost would be, the total should be, see that the total should be 44.8. And so the cost gap is reduced, eliminated. And there is no cost gap, right? So I will have to work down in a reverse manner. So 20, and the difference, the balancing figure is 24.8. It's per unit, right? And this is not my answer. My answer here is that it's saying what is the maximum rate you can pay per hour. What is the most we can pay per hour? So it needs 2 hours, right? So I will be paying them for 2 hours multiply by I don't know what rate. So you have to divide. So the answer is 24.8 divided by 2. That's 12.4. This is the maximum rate which can be paid, right? Because if you will be paying more than this amount, your cost would be increased and your target profit will not be achieved, right? So I hope that this question is clear to you people. Okay, Aurangzeb Imam, I will be updating it. I will be updating it. Uh, Nidusha Sekar, it is saying that they have estimated the direct material cost. They have estimated the direct material cost. All right. They did not account for the losses calculation. There is a cost 16 for 10 kg. For 10 kg. Whenever there is a loss, this is the figure which is actively used. $16 is the actual, it is the actual cost, or you can say the actual usage. Let's say for example, there are 3 kgs to be used. I need 3 kgs. Let's say I need 3 kgs, right? And 1 kg usually getting loss. So I will have to go to the market and I will be purchasing my need plus 1 loss. So I will be purchasing 4, 1 kg will be lost and I will be utilizing my 3 kilograms. Similarly is the case here. Then for every $8 kgs, and they are not allowing for this thing. They are not allowing for this thing. So I will have to account for this. So $16, or you can say 8 kilogram are the after the loss. So you need to purchase it more. You need to purchase it more, right? You need to purchase it more. So that was the reason. Aisha, Suman. Okay, Shova Semata, I will be updating. All of you, make sure you are all in the WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group is going to be shared once again. Please join the WhatsApp group. All the things will be uploaded over there. The WhatsApp group will be shared shortly. Abdullah Rashid, the link will be provided. Please join it. Aisha Suman, your answer is that 44 minus 20. This is the balancing figure. This is the balancing figure, right? Now listen it very carefully. Okay, the WhatsApp group link will be shared. Faisal, this class will be uploaded. Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Yes, Aurangzeb Imam, I am going to answer your concern. Now, one student Sir, please share the topic which you will be covering tomorrow. Okay, I will be answering your question. One more thing. Tomorrow I will be covering this target costing, and yes, please download this file. Please download this file. And there is a very recent question. It's not very recent. It's December 2021. This is the new question. You should assume it as a fresh question. I will be solving this question. Tomorrow. It is based on target costing. It is a very good question. Seriously, it's a very good question. And this is your assignment kind of thing. I will be solving this question tomorrow, and then I will be turning towards life cycle and throughput accounting, and based on the time we will be moving towards the performance measurement. Now the agenda would be that first I will be discussing this target costing. I will be discussing life cycle costing, and then throughput accounting. This question I will have to solve it tomorrow because it is from the 2021 case OTQ. It probably might be possible that it's new for all of you, all of the students must attend tomorrow's webinar, right? One more important thing is that then I will be discussing life cycle, throughput accounting, and then performance measurement section, right? So till there, take care of yourself, must revise this and must attend this webinar tomorrow. Secondly, this is my WhatsApp number. If you people want to have any kind of if you people want to deal your query, you can WhatsApp me. This is my WhatsApp number. Please save it. I am holding for a few seconds. This is my WhatsApp number, right? And remember one thing, you people are good. You can achieve this. You can achieve the passing rate. You can achieve the passing percentage of this paper. You are good at study. I am giving you positive vibes. Okay, you can pass the paper. If you will study, if you will work hard and smart, you will pass out the paper. There is not a rocket science in that thing. And I am signing off from this lecture. Must attend this, and all of you must join the WhatsApp group. Now, thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a good evening. Bye bye. Take care.